In this week's First Responders, we have a warning from police about underage vaping, and this is not only for anyone under 21, but also for businesses that may be selling to minors. And joining us now is Lieutenant Daniel Shepard with the Tupelo Police Department's Narcotics Unit. How are you doing?
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
And thank you for being here with us. So how did the Narcotics Unit get involved when it comes to juvenile and or businesses creating these crimes?
A couple weeks ago,
the
student resource officers approached us that they've been fielding a lot of complaints from parents about businesses in the area selling vapes and products of that nature to their children in the area. And since that's not something that's necessarily something they deal with on a regular basis, they approached us to see if we would assist them in working out a detail where we could go out into the community, try to see if we could use some underage children to go out into these businesses with parents' permission, and see if they would sell to the kids. We had pretty good success with that during that operation.
And when it comes to vaping, I know that it was a problem really on the rise right before COVID, and it seemed to have somewhat dissipated. But you're now saying that it still is a problem among teens?
I would say so, yes, ma'am. Just with the color, it's a much more trying to think of the word I'm looking for, but it's more attractive to them to use the vapes. It's a kind of a popular thing for them to use. All kinds of different flavors, different brands, bright colors, things of that nature. I seem to attract them.
Okay, and when it comes to juveniles, what kind of penalties can they face if they are caught with any kind of tobacco product?
Typically, they're looking at some monetary fines. Typically, it's anywhere for a first offense around $100. Potentially, some community service could be involved in a first offense. Typically, no more than 15 hours. For subsequent offenses, maybe a second offense, you're looking at that fine doubling to around $300, and then that community service topping out at a potential 25 hours of community service, and then a third in any subsequent, infractions of that nature. They're looking at $500 a pop, and then as high as 40 hours of community service.
Wow. And when it comes to the businesses, I know you guys have successfully cracked down on some businesses that were selling to minors. What can they face?
So typically, they're looking at fines ranging anywhere from $250 on a first offense to as high as $1,000 on a third or follow-on offenses. There could be some potential misdemeanor imprisonment time, as well as they could potentially lose their ability to sell those products at their business.
And what final warning do you have for parents and businesses?
Just be mindful for the parents. Just be aware of what your kids are doing, what they're bringing home. Ultimately, it kind of falls down to the parents to really be on top of this, make sure that the kids are doing what they're supposed to be doing. And then the businesses, they need to make sure that they are doing their due diligence. If someone looks to be underage, they need to be asking for ID, verifying that that's a valid ID, and before they make that purchase, because it could be us coming in right behind it to write them a ticket for it.
All right. Thank you so much, dear Lieutenant Daniel Shepard, for joining us this afternoon.